What if you became evil? Not because you were born bad, not because you hated anyone, but simply because someone gave you power and a role. What if under the right conditions, you could hurt another human being and feel justified doing it? Most people say, I would never do something like that. But in 1971, a simple experiment proved something terrifying. Ordinary people don't need to be monsters to commit evil. They just need permission. And what happened inside a fake prison at Stanford University shocked the world so deeply that the experiment had to be stopped early. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, the world was asking dangerous questions. Why did Nazi guards obey orders? Why do soldiers commit war crimes? Why do normal people suddenly turn cruel? Psychologists didn't want excuses. They wanted answers. One man believed he could find them. His name was Philip Zimbardo, a respected psychologist at Stanford University. He wanted to test a simple but terrifying idea. Is evil something inside people, or is it something created by the situation they're placed in? So he designed an experiment that seemed harmless on the surface. 2 weeks, a fake prison, paid volunteers, no violence allowed, no physical harm, everything controlled, or so he thought. What followed would become one of the most disturbing psychological experiments ever conducted.
Zimbardo placed an ad in the newspaper. Male college students needed for a psychological study of prison life, $15 per day. Hundreds applied. After interviews and mental health screenings, 24 completely normal young men were selected. No criminal records, no violent tendencies, average students. Then they were randomly divided into 2 groups, guards, prisoners, randomly, like flipping a coin. This is important. No one was chosen because they were aggressive. No one was chosen because they were weak. Just chance. The prison was built in the basement of Stanford's psychology department. Real cells, locked doors, narrow hallways. Guards were given uniforms, sunglasses so prisoners couldn't see their eyes, batons, not to be used physically. Prisoners were given numbers instead of names, loose gowns, no underwear, a chain around one ankle. From the start, something felt off, but no one knew how bad it would get.
On the first day, things felt awkward. The guards didn't know how to act. The prisoners laughed it off. It felt like a game. But then something subtle happened. The guards started enforcing rules. Stand straight, speak only when spoken to, refer to yourself by your number. Nothing violent, nothing extreme, just authority. And the prisoners obeyed. That obedience changed everything. Because once someone obeys once, they are more likely to obey again. The guards noticed this, and without being told to, they pushed further. By the second day, the prisoners rebelled. They blocked their cell doors. They refused orders. They laughed at the guards. This is where everything broke. The guards felt challenged, embarrassed, threatened, so they responded. They used fire extinguishers to force prisoners back. They stripped prisoners naked. They took beds away. One prisoner was placed in solitary confinement, a dark closet. Still, no physical violence, but the humiliation, it was real. And the guards didn't feel guilty, they felt justified. Because in their minds, they weren't being cruel, they were maintaining order. By day 3, prisoners began to change. One prisoner started screaming uncontrollably, crying, begging to leave. The researchers thought he was faking. He wasn't. Another prisoner developed a rash all over his body from stress. One became completely passive, silent, broken. And here's the scariest part. The guards enjoyed their power. They woke prisoners in the middle of the night, forced them to do push-ups, insulted them, humiliated them. Not because they were told to, but because they could. Evil wasn't ordered, it emerged. Here's the part most people don't expect. Philip Zimbardo didn't stop it. Even as prisoners suffered, even as guards became cruel, he didn't step in. Why? Because he wasn't just the scientist. He had also taken the role of prison superintendent. He stopped seeing participants as students. He saw them as guards and prisoners. The experiment didn't just trap the subjects, it trapped the researcher too. That's how powerful roles are. The experiment was supposed to last 14 days. It ended
after 6. Not because of rules, but because an outsider walked in. A woman named Christina Maslach saw what was happening. She was horrified. She asked one simple question: what kind of people are you that you let this continue? That question broke the spell. Zimbardo finally saw what he had become part of. The experiment was shut down immediately.
The Stanford Prison Experiment revealed a truth we don't like to admit. Evil doesn't always come from evil people. Most harm in the world is not done by psychopaths or monsters. It is done by ordinary people who slowly stop questioning what they're doing. Evil often grows in quiet ways. It comes from power without accountability. When someone is given control over others, but no one is watching them closely. When there are no consequences, small abuses feel harmless. And once small abuses feel normal, bigger ones don't feel wrong anymore. It comes from roles without empathy. When people stop seeing humans and start seeing labels: prisoner, enemy, criminal, low class. Once someone becomes a role instead of a person, hurting them feels easier. Empathy fades because the role feels less human. And it comes from systems that remove identity. When people lose their names, their voices, and their individuality, numbers replace names, rules replace judgment, obedience replaces thinking. When you strip someone of their name, you make them feel invisible. When you give another person authority, you make them feel superior. And when you remove consequences, you remove the final barrier between thought and action. This is how normal people cross lines they never thought they would cross. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but step by step. First, they follow rules. Then they enforce rules. Then they defend the rules. And finally, they become the rules. In society, this happens everywhere. In workplaces where bosses humiliate employees because that's how it's always been. In governments where cruelty is justified as order or security. In online spaces where people attack others because they feel anonymous and powerful. In crowds where no one feels personally responsible. People don't wake up wanting to be cruel. They slowly stop seeing the harm they cause. And the most dangerous part? Once people believe they are just doing their job, they stop seeing themselves as responsible at all. This doesn't excuse evil, it doesn't forgive it, and it doesn't make it acceptable. But it explains why evil can spread through ordinary people so easily. Because when the situation rewards obedience, silence, and power, good intentions are not enough. Only awareness is. Now here's the disturbing question. If a fake prison did this in 6 days, what do real systems do over years? And more importantly, how do you protect yourself from becoming part of it? Because history shows us something chilling. The line between good and evil is not between people, it's between situations. And in the next video, we'll explore how obedience to authority can override morality, even when people know something is wrong. Watch closely, because understanding this might be the only thing that stops it from happening again.